Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Betty May. I'm the Program Director for Graduate Student Success at the Office of Graduate Education and Life. We're so happy to see so many of you here this afternoon. I'd like to introduce a few of our staff who are here. Michaelin Stump, who is the Program Director for Graduate Student Affairs, and Winda Malati is our Graduate Assistant. She's also a doctoral student. So just let me see a show of hand. You can use the reaction. If you don't want to turn on your video, it's fine. Use that reaction to show me how many of you have visited the 3MT webpage on our website. I see one hand, two, three, okay, four. All right. Maybe I'm seeing that same hand, maybe that's about three. All right. So I know you came here with a lot of questions, right? Things like, what is the 3MT? Why should I enter? What do I benefit from it, right? So I am going to go over things that are on our website. And then later on, we have the past three winners from the 2023 spring competition, who will share their experiences with you and maybe also tell you why they entered and why you should enter the competition. So before I turn the time to them, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, I'm going to minimize this so you can see the full screen. I am on the graduate education .wvu.edu website. And if you go here to news and event, under that, you will see 3MT. And so right now I'm on this page. I'm going to go over the basics with you. And then we'll give you time for questions. The 3MT competition, the 3-minute thesis competition, it is founded by the University of Queensland, Australia. There is a link here if you want to go there to see more about what they do and videos of past winners around the world. So you can see some examples there if you're thinking of entering this contest and making your video of your research. One date that we want you to note now and put it on your calendar is April 4th next year, 2024. That is when we would hold the grand finale. Now, the reason why I wanted you to pay attention to that or even to mark it on your calendar is you need to be in person that evening for the competition if you were selected as one of the finalists. And so I know sometimes, graduate students have conferences that they need to attend, and so they may not be here that day. If you will not be here in person, this may not be the year for you to enter. So I want you to note that now before you submit your video for the preliminary round of competition. So please mark this on your calendar, April 4th, 2024. So these are our winners from the last competition in the spring of 2023. And Sindupa, Johan, and Arka are here. I hope Sindupa is here. I haven't seen him yet, but they are here today to share their experiences with you. Mohammed, I believe, have graduated, and I'm not in touch with him, so that's why I didn't invite him to come. So the reasons why you should enter, and I hope that you have also seen Sindupa's short video of why one should enter the competition, and later on he'll be here in person to talk to you about that experience. So why should one enter? Now, of course, I'll go over this later, but I want to jump to this for now, okay? Because there is cash money prizes involved. Our first place winner will receive $1,000, second place $750, third place $500, and the People's Choice Award is $250. On top of, if you were one of these winners, you win another $250. For the finalists who didn't get placed, they will still receive $100 for the for putting time into this competition. All right, so let's also look at eligibility requirements before we talk about other things. We are looking for students in doctoral programs who are still enrolled for a minimum of at least 1 credit hours. Now, many students are in the last year of doc studies, and they may not need to take other classes than their 1 credit hour research course. So, so you need to be enrolled for at least 1 credit hour for the semesters, okay? Before you could submit your video. You will also need to complete, or your advisor will need to complete their advisor agreement form, which we don't have the link up yet, but you can find it here later on, okay? After today, we'll put the advisor agreement form up. So your advisor will need to know that you're entering this competition and that they will have to sign off on this form, okay, to let us know that they have been notified and they agreed for you to compete. So make sure you do this, okay? Otherwise, you will not be eligible. And so there will be a link later on for you to submit that when it's time for you to submit your video. Let's see. Okay, so I said that you will need to be in person for that day. So check your calendar to see if you'll be here on April 4th next year. You must be in good academic standing within your program. You must also obtain from your academic advisor, committee chair, to enter the 3MT competition. And that was why I talked about the agreement form. You must also obtain permission from any research collaborators if the research you plan to incorporates the ideas of work of others. Your presentation should take into account intellectual property. If your research content is embargoed or sensitive, the presentation will need to be structured in such a way to avoid compromising any future research presentations. All final presentations will be open to the public and published online. By entering the contest, you must agree for our office to use your photographs or videos to publish either on our website or in promotional materials. There are rules to this competition, and the rules are not set by us. It really is, they are set by the University of Queensland. And so every higher ed institution all around the world who hosts this competition on their campus, we actually follow the rules that are set or have been set by the University of Queensland. Now, so this you may have questions about all this, so we are going to go over this each one one by one. When you submit your video, and I'm going to talk more specifically about that later, you are not allowed to use any other electronic media such as well, the props. Let me go to the props, okay? And for your video, we will have a link, which is not posted right now, but it will be posted for you to submit your video, your 3-minute video, okay? No longer than 3 minutes. No additional electronic media are permitted. No additional props are permitted, okay, for your slide. We're talking about a single slide that is static, okay, that you can have information on it, written information on it, but no other props. No costumes, no musical instruments, okay, even if you may be from CAC, okay, you are only given 3 minutes to talk about your research instead of playing an instrument, okay, or showing us in your lab, okay, when you video yourself, we want a video of just you speaking to us and not in a laboratory showing us how things go from here to there, okay, that would be considered prompts. And then your video will be disqualified. So everybody, please remember that, okay? Your presentations need to be limited to 3 minutes. Any videos that are over 3 minutes are disqualified automatically. Presentations are to be of spoken words, so there will be no poems, raps, or songs. Presentations will begin counting you when the presenter starts the presentation through either movement or speech. The judging criteria, again, everyone who hosts this competition uses the same judging criteria, and you can find them right here. We'll be looking at 3 areas: comprehension, how much are you making us understand your research? Now, all the detailed questions are here, so I'm not going to go over all of them. And how clear, how concise the information is, okay? Engagement, how much are you engaging your audience to try to make them understand your research and interested in your research. So each of these, you'll be given a score for each of these bullet points. And communication, again, there are 5 areas here. We look at how your PowerPoint enhances your presentation was clear, legible, and concise. And really, I mean, concise is the word, okay? And we'll talk about that. And so you have all the scoring criteria right here. And the rubric should be here. And before I go to show you that video, the rubric, I'm coming back here. The scoring rubric is here. So if you click on that, okay, are you seeing my the screen now with the rubrics? I can't see you. So if someone would tell me that you're seeing the competition judging rubric.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We can see it, Betty.
Thank you. So students, you know, you can judge yourself once you've completed your video, okay? How would you score yourself? Do I score here with the presentation clearly explain the research project and help me understand it? Okay. And so this is clear up front, so you know how your judges will be judging you. Okay. For the preliminary round, the steering committee will be the judges, and we all will be given this sheet, and we'll all score you according to what we see here and from your video. All right. So for the moment, let me see. I'll stop share. No, I can go back. I can go back. All right. So for those of you who may be asking questions about or for examples, okay, so here we have, if you scroll down on the 3MT page, we have the whole competition. This is, of course, the final competition on in April, a few months earlier. So on here, you can actually see the competitors and their slides. Okay, and there were, I think, 8 finalists last time. Okay, and I'm not going to show the whole video. I just want you to know where they are and where to find it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing now to see if there are questions before I turn the time over to the past winners. I see something in the chat. Let me look at that. Oh, okay. Thank you, Michaelin, for putting the website out there. Other questions that you have not gotten an answer from what I have just shared? Okay, maybe we'll come back to questions later. I see Sindupa here. I see Johan and Arka. Go ahead if you want to, yeah, turn on your camera or video. And Dupa. Okay. All right. So in no particular order, whoever wants to go first.
All right, I can start. Uh, Hi, everyone. Good to see you all here. I'm Kazi Orko Rahman. I go by Orko. I, along with Zohan and Sindhupa, were one of the winners of the last one. And I would like to encourage you all to participate in this because of three reasons. It helps you to crystallize your own ideas. That is very, very helpful when you are hitting the job market, as I'm finding out right now. Second, you get a lot of feedback working with Miss Betty Moy here regarding how to present and articulate your ideas, the pronunciation for a public audience, and how to structure the speech. That has been a fantastic help later on when I talk about my research in conferences and any other stuff. It helps to get ideas where you need to focus on, what particular thing you might to pronounce a little bit in a clear manner for your audience to understand, and stuff like that. And lastly, you also make pretty good friends with whom you might not have connected in any other event. There are eight of us. Sindhupa is here, Joanne is here. There are also Emily, Vinila, Carlo, Rudy. And I have seen some of them, ran into them outside and chatted with them. And that is a fantastic experience just to realize that you're a graduate student, you have your own research. It might get lonely sometime, but see others going through the same process in a different discipline is very, very uh, encouraging. So you know that you are not alone. So that would be my 2 cents. And there are two other much more better looking person here and much better speaker than me, and they might share their own experience.
Thank you, Aka.
Should I go second? How are you? My name is Johan Cuervo. I'm a PhD student in soil sciences. I found this contest very helpful because it helped me to condense my project into just 3 minutes. When you're working with your advisor and your colleagues, it's very easy to get used to the language. So you kind of lose that other people don't understand you, right? So I think talking with Dr. May help to create a bridge between my science that normally you're kind of like in a small group and bring your project to other people. So talking to your family, with other colleagues or the different audience, I think that was very, very helpful. And actually, I came back from a national meeting in St. Louis that I had just 10 minutes to present my proposal. And this 3 minute thesis was very helpful to apply that same work on my 10-minute presentation. So yeah, it helps to just filtrate your information, like filtrate your project to use proper language for different audience and just work on the pressure because it's not easy to bring your whole project into just 3 minutes and one slide. With national meetings, you are able to do 10, 15 slides. But I think the challenge of one slide, I think that's the best part of this contest.
All right, thank you, Johan.
Mhm.
Sindhupa.
Hello, everyone. I think both Aka and Johan covered all the important points about this competition. Um, I think the only things that I want to add to this is, as a graduate student, what your time commitment is going to look like preparing for this competition. So Dr. May here is incredible at making time to meet with you, to give you direction, feedback on your static slide, as well as the speech that you're going to deliver in this competition. But it took us about 4 to 6 times of meeting and going over our talk, going giving feedback, making corrections, leading up to the competition. It takes some time, but it doesn't really take that much away from your own research and coursework. And then Dr. May already covered the value, as well as Arka and Johan too, the value of this competition. The prize money is great when you're a graduate student, but the experience of being able to condense so much research information within 3 minutes, um, that carries so much, and putting that on your CV as even a participant of this competition demonstrates a lot no matter your discipline of work, where you're showing that you're capable of communicating a really complex topic or project within a very, very narrow period of time. That is not a skill that many people have. So figuring out how to do that, earning that experience through this competition is extremely valuable. But personally, and I think everyone else here would agree too, one of the most best things about this competition is just getting to listen to everyone else's talks. And I regret that I didn't participate just attending these competitions before, because usually we have to read research papers or sit through an entire conference to listen to all these different research topics, right? And usually conferences are very specific. But when you attend this competition, you get to listen to so many different research projects within 3 minutes and learn so much about the cool research questions that our fellow graduate students are asking and all the cool projects that are going on at WVU. So highly, highly encourage you all to participate, and feel free to reach out with any questions.
Thank you so much. And I have to echo that not only should you just focus on this competition and skill sets that you learned here, it really will help you, as you have heard from Aka and Johan, that whether you're going to another conference in the future or whether it's a job interview, once you have gone through this training, you'll be much more confident and competent in sharing your research information with those who may not understand all the scientific things behind your research. How do we make it plain to let, whether it's a family member or someone not from the same field, to know what we're doing, okay? You have spent so much time on your dissertation research. It is time to showcase your work. And what better way than doing this competition, letting the whole community know about what you're doing, okay? And I also want to say that what they were talking about working with me, that is the final stage, okay? That is before the grand finale. If you were selected as a finalist, then I serve as your coach. I will work with you very closely, one-on-one, depending on how much you want to win and how much you want to work on this. I will make time to meet with you one-on-one so that you can do very well at the grand finale. Now, I also want to say that during your preliminary round, I can't be helping you because I'm one of the judges. All right. Now, that is not to say that you cannot email me to ask questions or our GradAd account. Okay. Vicky is showing there on the video now. Vicky could help you. Winda, our graduate assistant, Michaelin could help. Oh, Michaelin is also on a steering committee, so she'll be one of the judges too. But again, I mean, you can ask questions, but I won't be able to give you specific help on your slides or your speech. One more thing I want to say then, maybe our other staff want to add things that I might have missed. Sindupa, being the first place winner from our last competition, will be representing WVU to the regional competition. So we'll be sending him to South Carolina early next year for the regional competition. Now, 2, 3 years ago now, our WVU winner placed second in the regional. And so the first place and second place winners from all the different regions get to be invited to present their research at the national level. All right. But at the national level, then you don't compete for first, second place, third place. They only vote on people's choice because everyone who get to be there is already a winner. So it's really hard, okay, to place them. So we only get to vote on people's choice. But I want you to know that there are opportunities after this local competition. All right. And I will be working with Sindupa to get him ready for the regional competition in the very near future. All right, so I'm gonna stop here. I know you must have questions. If you don't want to turn on the mic, you can type your questions in chat. I see Vicky here. Vicky, do you have anything to share?
Well, I had a couple things to share and then one question I wanted to ask to our former contestants that are here because first I wanted to remind everybody that the video submissions, we're not looking for quality of video or like you're not being judged on your video production. I think maybe in the year, Betty, when we were totally virtual, we spent a lot more time working with students on, as long as we can hear you clearly and you're following all of the rules of the competition, and obviously you keep it within 3 minutes. So don't worry about thinking you need high-end video or audio recording equipment for that part of it, as long as it's clear and not busy in the image, it's just you. So that's something that can easily be done with a cell phone. And if you really feel that you need other equipment, you can usually check most of that out at the library. The second thing when Betty mentioned, and I don't even think of this normally too, Betty, is that they've been here working for so long or are working so hard that like this is your time. We do want to hear what you're working on. It's not a chore for us to be listening either. And as a non academic person, I really enjoy these competitions. The other thing I wanted to ask the other contestants is, and this is like feedback that we've heard from contestants about why more students don't participate, is the thought of standing on a stage and presenting something to a big group of people is intimidating. It's scary, especially for very academically focused and research focused students who do not feel that they shine best in performance type situations. So was it that terrible, Arka and Johan Sindupa? I mean, was it really that are you glad? I mean, are you glad if I don't know if the three of you had those apprehensions like everybody else did, but I just feel like if we could just encourage students by telling them, no, it really isn't as scary as I thought it would be, but maybe if it is, we need to tell them that too. So
Did you want to go first or should I go first?
No, you go this time, Mohan, and I'll follow.
It was terrifying. It was. But I think that was the thing that I was interested in because it was putting me in a situation where I have to work in that skill. Because if we're working in sciences, at least in my case, that's going to be your life, just talking with people and sharing your research and sharing your data. So I think that was the main driver for, in my case, to participate in this contest, just to put me in a situation where I have to train, and it was amazing. I did enjoy that process.
Yeah, just to piggyback on Johan, same here. Just to quote Eminem lyrics, right before the tournament, it was arms heavy, palms sweaty. Okay, there was very like stage fright and everything else. But you do come afterwards, knowing that you have gone through this, you become more confident. And it is always a process. I would encourage students to go through the previous videos, which I did. And you don't have to change yourself completely, focus on one aspect, like this is who you are, this is one area you can improve on. And after the competition, when you reflect on it, you will find other areas. And over time, you'll probably improve on this articulation in 3 or 4 areas. So that was really help. But as far as confidence, right before you went onto the stage, it was pretty nervous because I didn't expect the crowd to be that large. It was a houseful audience, and I was not prepared for that by that much.
So I just want to agree with everything they said. I think I told folks after the competition, I don't remember what I said on stage or what. I don't remember a whole lot. I remember looking at the clock and I know just talking, but practicing multiple times before the competition, including the rehearsal. So we got to do a rehearsal round before the audience and the judges attended, was extremely helpful. Yeah, the nerves that you get sitting there waiting for each other competitor to go on and present, and depending on your order of when you're going, you get to see other people talk. It's pretty nerve-wracking. However, just like Arka said, once you finish it, it feels so good, and then you wait for the results. No matter the outcome, it is a net positive, wonderful experience.
Thank you. There's a question in the chat, and it's a good question. What stage of research must one be to be eligible, or how far along must one be in the research process? First of all, this should be your dissertation research. Now, if you look at the rubric once again, you will see that we do look for some results. We understand that you are still in the process of conducting your dissertation research. Now, there are, for example, students who are in this program that you get your master's and your PhD, depending on how much time you spend there. You might have conducted either a pilot study, or like for myself, during my doctoral study, I did a pilot study before I conducted my whole research. So if you're at that stage, you have some results to present, we encourage you to participate, as long as there's some results. Because the reason being, if you do not have results or any results to talk about, and then you are competing with those who have results, okay, just think about that you may lose just in that area, okay, your scores. And that's why we would want you to have some results, whether if you have been in the program for 2 years and you have done some preliminary research and you have some preliminary results to present, that's fine, okay? But it has to be your dissertation research, because again, we're guided by the University of Queensland guidelines and rules, okay? I hope that answers your question, Silpa.
Can I add to that too, Betty?
Yeah.
This is, I don't know who or how many have done this though. Also, if you're in a position to compete in this competition more than once, you may also do that. That's correct, isn't it?
If they have not been placed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That's correct. Yes.
They can re-enter. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Silpa. One thing I do want to add, I might not have spent a lot of time on talking about video, but Vicky brought about video. Yeah, we're not looking for really high quality, so you don't need to go out and buy expensive equipment, okay, to video yourself. You can do it on a cell phone, as long as we can hear you well, okay, as long as we can see you well. So we do judge on clarity, and how well you're engaging your audience. Now, how do we tell, or how can we score you by engaging? In addition to your message, your written message, your eye contact, your gestures, your posture, okay? Are you getting your audience involved? Like I am right now, okay? I'm looking at you, I'm gesturing and all that. And in your voice, are you showing enthusiasm? We judge all that, okay? And so that would be under communication, I believe. Another thing I want you to note is that when you do your one slide, or when you video, I would prefer that you don't show your slide and video yourself, like, on Zoom, you know how that is. Then we'll see that little corner of you in that little square in the upper right corner. That's not what we want to see, okay, in your video. Don't worry about the slide. We will see the slide because you submit the slide separately. So the judges will be able to see a slide whenever we want to see it. Okay, so when you video, I would prefer that you video yourself, okay, up close. Now, some people would video themselves in a classroom and showing their slide, and they would stand, and it's fine to do that as long as we can hear you very well, okay? That is often the case. If you stand too far away from your phone or your video equipment, we may not be able to hear you that well. So I would not worry about showing my slides so much, because we can see it, okay? You will submit it separately, we'll be able to see that. I just would worry about your own video, like, half of your body, okay, height. So as long as that is clear. So I hope I've made myself clear about this point. Because I have seen students submit video showing the slide and then themselves in that little corner. And that's not what we want to see. I just want to, yeah, really make that point clear to you. Maybe the Sindupa, Johan, and Arka could share how you made your preliminary video. Did someone video record you, or what happened?
So in my case, I just went into an empty classroom and I set up my laptop. I had already said I submitted the slide separately, so I just recorded myself talking without the slide. I'll even go on to share that, since this was my first time, submitting the video, I even had my script typed out. I had practiced before to make sure that was within the time frame. I even went online and found a little website that kind of functioned like a teleprompter where the script goes right up as you speak. And I had that right under the camera. And so I could present and like know what I was talking about. Because mind you, this was my third time practicing my speech. So I didn't have all my words memorized and I didn't want to read the paper in front of me as I presented. But yeah, after I submitted that preliminary video and made it through, then after that, after a couple rounds of practice, then I knew my speech. But yeah, that helped me out a lot.
Yes, for the grand finale, you will have to memorize it. But for the video, yeah, like you said, you could have your notes right in front of you. Yeah.
In my case, it was very similar to Sindupa. I had my script, but next to my phone. But I made sure that I wasn't reading. Just I had my script just to connect points within my presentation, and I used my back camera on my cell phone. It took me maybe 5 tries before I got the one that I wanted. But it was fairly easy, and actually, I used the phone to complete the website to just upload my video. So it was pretty easy. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, I practiced maybe 10 times before taking the video. I recorded 5 times. I choose the one that I was more comfortable with, and that was it. It took me 2 days just to write the script and all of that, but it's not a lot of time consuming. It's straightforward.
Yeah, same. I videoed myself in my home, and my wife video recorded me. It took some time because she was not happy with my sweater. I was focusing on the speech, and she was like, "No way am I." Like, she picked different sweater for me to speak on. But yeah, I did the same like Sindupan Johan. I wrote the speech. It was not memorized that much, but when I made the video, I focused on whether I'm coming off as enthusiastic, and I had notes written like first, second, third. So I had a list of like 7 items that I want to cover during those 3 minutes, and just wanted to make sure I touch each one of them as long as I come off under that time constraint. So that was my 2 things, that I wanted to make the video where I say all the things that I want to say. There might be some flaws, but if I get selected, we can revise that later. But making sure that the audience could understand, all the judges, that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in that manner, what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. Yeah. When you submit the video, I believe there are going to be instructions on there that says that when you begin, you will talk about, you give your name and the research title. And a lot of students will ask, well, does that count as one, the 3 minutes? No, it will be after that then. So make sure, and I'm glad Arka mentioned the time again. It is important for you to go 3 minutes and not over. Because when you go over 3 minutes, then your video will be disqualified. Same thing at the competition, at the in-person competition. We had one person who at the end, this past competition, did go over. So her scores had to be thrown out and not be counted. It doesn't matter how well you perform, but if you go over 3 minutes, and you're out. Other questions?
Hello, thank you, Dr. May.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for holding this program. I'm really learning a lot. And thank you to the former participants for your helpful ideas and advices. I came a little bit late, so I didn't get a full scope of the gist. I might be asking a redundant question, probably a question that's already been answered, but I penned down like 2 or 3 questions. The first one was about the timing, which you already answered. I just wanted to ask, like, how far above 3 minutes can you shoot? Maybe 3.01 seconds or 3.02 seconds. But I think you've already answered that. I think my second question was, can you use as many slides as possible to give your delivery, given that you give your talk in just 3 minutes? So you can use as many slides as possible, probably 15, 10, as long as you deliver it within the 3 minutes as stipulated. And also, do we have like resources for new participants that we can possibly refer to if we want to get the full scope of what the competition is all like? Is there a link? And lastly, will we have access to the recording so that we can, go through it again and refresh our mind? Thank you.
Okay. Could you repeat your last question?
The last question was the recording, the Zoom meeting right now. Are we going to have access to it
recording,
once the
yes.
meeting is done? Yeah.
Yes. This session is being recorded, and we will send the recording to all of you and those who have registered but may not be able to be here today. So that's answered. The timing question, you got that? Now the slides, please do not send more than 1 slide. Now that is the challenge of this competition. Okay, you're presenting your research with using only 1 static slide, no more than 1. And it has to be static. I went over that there shouldn't be any background music, any props, animation on there, purely static slide. As for resources, if you open the chat, our staff, Michaelin, has already put the link up there to show you all 3MT, and that's what I went over in the beginning of this session. It gives you all the information that you need. It's under graduateeducation.wvu.edu. If you go to the news and event and click on that, and you'll see 3MT. That whole page will have all the information that you need. Now, after you've browsed through the website, if you still have questions, don't hesitate to contact us at the grad@mail.wvu.edu. Okay, or even me personally, you can contact me. I hope that answers all your questions, Ephraim. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Others? Okay, if there are no further questions, it is 12:44, and I'm gonna let you go early. Everyone has a busy schedule. Thank you so much, Sindupa, Johan, and Arka for being here. I plan to have another session in the spring, in January, for those who might not be able to come to this one. So we'll call it the end of the session. I'm going to stop recording.